Dirk.
Hi Pierre, and welcome to this short video dedicated to the glide interception from above procedure. We will review the procedure step by step and discuss the possible threats and mitigations related to the procedure.
To do so, we propose to go into a simulator and perform the glide interception from above procedure. In addition, we will present an inappropriate mode reversion event that could occur during a glide interception from above if the procedure is not followed. In the proposed scenario, the aircraft is in heading and altitude mode at 4,000 feet and is being radar vectored to the ILS 32 left in Toulouse. The intermediate approach altitude, where the glide is normally intercepted, is at 3,000 feet. The air traffic controller is unable to descend the aircraft down to 3,000 feet due to low-level traffic.
Now we will start to describe the procedure step by step. After a while, the aircraft is on intercept heading towards the localizer and configured in config 1. On the navigation display, the crew observes that the aircraft will pass the final approach point above the intermediate approach altitude and mentally prepares for the interception from above procedure. When the aircraft is cleared for approach, the pilot flying can descend to the intermediate approach altitude and arms the approach modes. The pilot flying must verify that the localizer and glide slope modes are armed to make sure the final approach course and glide slope will be intercepted.
In order to have the best rate of descent, the pilot flying will adjust the aircraft configuration to at least config 2 with an appropriate speed and, if required, lower the landing gear.
Pierre, why do I have to wait until the lock mode is engaged before I can proceed to the glide interception?
On Airbus aircraft, the lock star mode may engage before the standard reliable localizer area, and this in order to reduce the exposure to localizer overshoot during the interception. So, to ensure that the aircraft is well established on the final approach before descending to intercept the glide from above, the pilot flying must wait until the lock mode is engaged.
Thank you for making that clear, Pierre. Now that I'm established on the localizer, I can set the FCU altitude above the current aircraft altitude. Why can I not select an FCU altitude below and continue in open des?
There are two reasons for that. First, we do not want the aircraft to level off before intercepting the glide. This may occur if the FCU altitude is below the aircraft altitude. Second, Airbus recommends not to use open des mode at low altitude. Open des mode with idle thrust may result in a too high negative vertical speed and then generate glide slope capture behavior that is not appropriate and even may generate toes alerts. It is recommended to use the vertical speed mode. Anyway, if the procedure is correctly applied by setting up the FCU altitude above the present aircraft altitude, the open des mode is not available anymore.
Thank you, Pierre. When setting the FCU altitude above the present altitude, the pilot flying must avoid pulling the altitude knob, because that will cause the mode to change to open climb. Now that the aircraft is established on the localizer and the FCU altitude is above the current aircraft altitude, it is time for the pilot flying to put the aircraft in a controlled and stabilized descent towards the glide using the VS mode.
The glide interception from above procedure is particularly affected by secondary glide slope interception. As you can see in this picture, the secondary glide slope area is above the primary glide slope. This means when performing glide from above procedure, the exposure to secondary glide interception is increased. Therefore, monitoring the glide interception and validity is mandatory.
The pilot flying selects a vertical speed, adjusted as necessary, and should not exceed 2000 feet per minute, as this may result in a speed increase towards VFE. While approaching the glide, the pilot flying should carefully monitor the rate of descent and speed to avoid exceeding VFE and take appropriate action like configuration change and landing gear extension in order to control the speed.
The flycrew should monitor the glide slope capture and set the go-around altitude on the FCU when the glide slope is captured. When established on the ILS, the normal SOPs can be resumed.
And of course, if things do not go as expected, or the aircraft cannot be stabilized at the stabilization height, a go-around must be performed.
Dirk, now let me focus on a specific scenario that occurred in service. This event is detailed in the Safety First article Inappropriate Vertical Speed Target during Autoflight Mode Reversion. And I would like to present an extract here. As illustrated in this article, the aircraft, an A320, was performing a glide interception from above. However, the approach was not stabilized and the flycrew decided to perform a go-around. The aircraft started to climb and reached the FCU selected altitude and the start mode engaged. At this moment, the pilot flying noticed that the FCU altitude was not the published go-around altitude and then changed the FCU to the correct and higher altitude. This generated a reversion to a negative vertical speed target.
How is it possible to revert to a negative vertical speed if the new FCU altitude is higher than the present aircraft altitude? Should it not be the current vertical speed?
The reversion to vertical speed mode occurred 31 seconds after the vertical speed was previously selected by the flycrew to capture the glide. As per A320 family design, whenever vertical speed target is pre-selected or selected, it remains as an active pre-selected target for 45 seconds. This means that if an automatic reversion to vertical speed occurs within these 45 seconds, the vertical speed target at VS engagement synchronizes on the pre-selected vertical speed that was selected during the glide interception from above. This logic is only applicable for A300, A310 and A320 family aircraft.
As usual, the best mitigation to notice this not expected guidance is to monitor and announce the FMA and take action if things do not go as expected.
To sum up, follow the logical steps of the procedure.
Remember to arm the approach mode.
Remember to select an FCU altitude above the current altitude.
Initially, select a vertical speed of -1500 to -2000 feet per minute with an appropriate speed to capture the glide. And remember, proceed to the glide interception only when the lock mode is engaged.
Create sufficient drag to control the speed, and as usual, the golden rules apply.
We hope you enjoyed this WIN video
And
and see you around for the next one.